Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for a very special episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. We are your hosts, Emma,
I'm Allie.
and we are so excited to chat with you guys one more time before the end of the year. I cannot believe that 2025 is almost here. This is like actually insane.
No, it's boggling my mind. Like, how is it already almost next year?
It's like wild and kind of makes me want to throw up.
No, same.
Ali and I just wanted to give you guys a little mini-sode to end the year on a high note and just to tell everybody how much we appreciate you all and love all of you that are loyal listeners. And we are so, so, so excited to see what 2025 is going to bring. We've got some fun films planned to review and fun events that we're going to and things that we have planned in general for the podcast. And so we thought we'd have a little mini-sode that we could kind of talk about some of that stuff to really end things on a high note.
Yeah, and I can't believe we're wrapping it up with a little bow for Christmas. So, Merry Christmas, fuckers.
I echo that. Merry Christmas, fuckers. I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure that Nosferatu comes out on Christmas Day. I think the producer and I are going to be going to see that. So, very exciting day ahead.
I fully support that because if you guys know me, I have a love-hate. I can't wait to see the new one.
We'll let you know how it is. One other thing I want to mention before we get going with the episode is that we want to apologize to you guys if the audio is a little funky. This is actually our first time recording virtually, if you can believe that. We always record together in person, and yeah, we were testing out some virtual recording. So go easy on us, you guys.
But we still love you and you still love us. So thank you.
Allie is brainwashing you right now. You still love us. You still love us. Well, we've got a couple of things that we wanted to go over today with you guys. And just one thing I wanted to start off with, Als, is some of our favorite horror films that we saw in 2024. I know one of my favorite films that I saw that is still like sticks in my head to this day is Talk to Me, which is an Australian horror film. And it is so good. I can't wait until we review it on the podcast. We probably will, at some point next year. But I really, really loved that film. I loved all the acting in it. I loved like the premise. I thought the whole idea of this like hand that has like all of these different spirits that you can kind of like conjure with like a seance type of thing. Als, I think we started watching it together on a drunken night hanging out and then you fell asleep. But do you remember seeing any part of that?
That's a great question. I don't know.
That was like one of my favorites for sure. I would say too, like another one was, this one isn't necessarily a movie, but I really am enjoying the Creep show. So there's Creep, the movie with Mark Duplass, and then he and Patrick Bryce, they made like a show. And I feel like the show is so cool with each episode kind of being a different tape, quote unquote, and story of one of the people that he murders. And I've just been like really, really enjoying that a lot. Als, what about you?
I need to watch that Creep anthology series, whatever it is, because after watching the film with you, now I'm curious. But as for me, this year I loved Maxine. I know Maxine has a lot of different reviews and whatnot, but I loved that it was wrapped up, and I loved that she was her bad bitch self. So that was a great one for me. And then I started watching this one that literally just came out called Cuckoo.
Oh, yes. It's Cuckoo, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I've got Sound of Music in my brain, so I'm like, cuckoo, cuckoo. I started watching that, and it's pretty fucked up, but I can't wait to finish it.
That has Hunter Schafer in it, right?
Yes, and we got a lot of new horror coming out next year, so I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, no, me too. I think one of our goals for the podcast is to watch a lot more new horror that's coming out. I think the coolest thing about horror as a genre is like we will literally never run out of films to review. There are so many, and that makes us so excited to like always have this bank of amazing films that we can always like go through. But I do want to make more of an effort to get into some of the newer horror that's coming out and what horror films are really making a splash the last couple of years and like make sure that we're kind of staying up to date with all of those.
Oh yeah, and we'll literally never run out, so we're
No,
good.
yeah. What are some of your favorite films that we have reviewed on the podcast this year?
This year, a couple that I love the most were X. That just I'm not sure why that movie just really stuck with me. And I've said that a million times over. But X, just because it is a newer horror film, but it's set in a different time period, but it brings a lot of nuanced things into the plot and like the difference between being younger and getting older and all. It was so, I said this in the episode where we covered it, but it was beautifully haunting or something like that. Like it was so beautifully done.
Yeah, totally.
And then something that surprised me is I really, really loved I've seen My Bloody Valentine before we did this podcast, but I love My Bloody Valentine.
That one really like surprised me too. I didn't know I was going to love it so much.
What are yours?
Some of my favorites were Sinister, because that to me is like one of the scariest films, more recent films. And then I got to go with my classics, Jeepers Creepers, which is a comfort film for me. TCM, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, baby. I hadn't seen the original in a long time because if y'all know me, you know that I love the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel. So going and watching the original again after kind of a while, gosh, it just still holds up. It's so good.
I still do not understand that fascination with Texas Chainsaw, but I digress.
Can you think of any like memorable debates or like anything? I'm trying to think, like we've had so many good like discussions, I feel like this or that, or I know like our opinions usually differ a lot in our movie taste, but can you think of something that was like kind of memorable from like a podcast point of view?
Yeah, and I love that we have such differing opinions because that's what makes a good conversation, like I love this and you're like, no, I hate that. But I think one of the episodes we did that was really fun with that was what sport is that? We did like our football draft pick, but with horror movies, and that was so much fun. And we had such differing opinions. That to me was just so off the cuff and so much fun. I still want to see how both of our teams do in the mall. If you don't understand that, go listen to it because it's a funny ass episode.
Okay, I will have to agree with you. I also think that the draft was so fun. Do you have a film, Alice, that you can think of that you reviewed and maybe you changed your mind about it?
Dude, I have like so many that when we plan out our schedule of what we're going to watch and review, it's based on so many different things. And some I'm like, why the fuck would we watch that? And then it totally changes my mind. For instance, I'm like, why the fuck would I watch Leprechaun? That seems so hokey. One of my favorites now. I love Leprechaun. Like, it's a funny and fucked up film that I will watch over and over again. I've watched it probably 10 times since we reviewed it in March. Like, I love it. And then also, shout out to Tusk. When I watched that for the first time, maybe 10 years ago, I was like, fuck this shit. And then I watched it with a different perspective and I love it.
Dude, I love that.
This last one's a testament to you, Emma. Jeepers fucking Creepers.
Yes.
I love that movie now because I think it's just so, I like the funny ones, I guess.
That makes me so happy. Honestly, all of these on your list are films that I love. So I'm so happy that you've come over to the light side.
Yeah. And like, I would like never go out of my way to watch these on my own, but now I'm obsessed. But what about you?
Okay, you're going to love this first one. My first one, I think, is Totally Killer. I did not like this film at all when I first watched it. I watched it on Allie's recommendation, and then I watched it a few times before we did our actual review, and it grows on me each and every time. And I think that I also started to like it the more that we like dissected it, which I'm starting to like see as sort of a pattern in a lot of these films. Sometimes if you just don't understand it, or maybe you've only seen it once, or there's so many variables that can go into liking something or not liking something, right? But like when we're like really diving deep into these, I'm like, wow, okay, I've got an appreciation for you. So I would say Totally Killer is one of them.
Oh,
And then my other one, shout out to Kenneth, one of our longtime listeners and patrons on Patreon. He recommended Possession. And that is another one that at first I was like, what the fuck am I watching? But I can so appreciate it now. And I can appreciate the artistic nature of this film, the acting of Sam Neill, the amazing breakdown scene in the subway that I have now seen referenced in so many like pulp culture things that I just never knew, but now I get the reference.
what, like the milk?
Yeah. Yes.
I respect that decision. That movie still just like fucks with my brain, but it did get me thinking a lot about different kinds of horror films.
In the best way. In the best
In the
way.
best way, but like kind of fucked with me. What was your favorite horror related event that we attended this year and why?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say Midsummer Scream. And Midsummer Scream, I think, is one of our favorite events. We've gone 2 times now. We absolutely love it. We love seeing everyone there. We've made so many friends in this space, and it is so fun to see everyone and support their small businesses and get to just like connect with people that we don't get to see on like an everyday basis. So that part is so fun. I don't know. I just feel like really thankful and lucky. And I feel like we giggled a ton and made some really fun memories over that whole weekend.
Midsummer is always the best. Like that is such an amazing event. They're all so good, so that was not a fair question, but thank you for your
I
answers.
know.
Okay, next one. If you could invite two horror characters from films we've covered this year to a Christmas celebration, who would they be and what gift would you give them?
Oh my God. Oh, this is so good. I love this question. Okay. Okay. My first one is I would invite the creeper from Jeepers Creepers and I would get him $100 gift card to Joanne's fabric and crafts store.
I love that. He can put new shit in his lair.
Exactly. He can really use that money to help get his Etsy shop going and, really take his crafting to the next level. And okay, I not really meaning to do this on purpose, but kind of related. I would also invite Hannibal Lecter and I would give him a really fancy bottle of Chianti.
Do they make fancy bottles of Chianti or is it all like $7?
I actually had some Chianti last night with dinner at a very fancy Italian restaurant. So I'm going to say, yeah, I think they do.
But you wouldn't give him fava beans as well.
No, I can't go that far.
Okay. If you give a mouse a cookie, I get it.
Yeah, I think those are my two. Those are my two. And I didn't really think about it, but they are kind of related. They both are fascinated with body parts and they do their own thing. And yeah, what about you?
You know what I'm seeing within our answers is like your choices have layers. But my first would be Leprechaun
Of course.
because I love him. Everybody would be bursting with laughter at the fucking dinner table while we're like eating Lucky Charms. I would give him shoe polish and my heart,
As you should.
as I should. I think he would be a hoot and I would love it. And then my second would be Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I just want to give him a little makeover. I get him some new masks and maybe like a spa day.
Love that.
He'd be cordial at the dinner table, just like being very helpful. Like, oh, here is the stewed liver. Here's like the whatever.
And he'd be dressed so nicely. We know
Yeah,
that he would dress nice for dinner.
especially after his makeover.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Well, we should get our
Well,
people together and have a whole
I think so
ass.
too.
Yeah. But okay, moving on from that, I can't wait for that to happen for us because that sounds amazing. But speaking of all of Christmas shit, what is your favorite Christmas tradition, Emma?
Ooh, okay. One thing that we do every year, actually, okay, I have two, and they're both movie related, so I hope everyone loves this. Number one is we always make time at some point to drink eggnog and watch A Christmas Story. We have been doing that since I probably was born. So that's like a big one. My mom will bake cookies. We drink some eggnog and we just like have a movie night and watch that movie. And then on Christmas Day specifically, my entire family, like no matter whose house we're at, it seems like Die Hard is just like playing on a loop. And it is just like always something that we are watching on Christmas. And I don't know why, but a lot of people consider that a Christmas movie. I do. I personally do. But what about you?
Back up. Do you like eggnog?
Yes, I just bought some today.
I don't think I've ever tried it.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to try it because I love it. And if you don't like it, then that's fine. More for me. It gives me
Oh,
like milkshake vibes. So I'm like, how can you not like it? It's like imagine a melted milkshake. Like that's kind of how it tastes.
I have way too many traditions that I love, but I love drinking a warm beverage like a mulled wine or a hot chocolate or a hot cider and looking at Christmas lights. We just did this last weekend, actually. And I think my most treasured one is making cookies with my mom while we watch The Sound of Music. It's just so special.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, I love
it's just
that.
so
Oh.
special to us. But
Cookies always make your house smell so good too. Like it just is like crazy.
yeah, and just singing and baking and all of that, just, I don't know. Especially since Christmas is like so short this year because Thanksgiving was long.
Yeah.
It's just like trying to fit everything in. So we did that too. We watched all of that. Like it was so special. But so what was your favorite memory this year outside of spooky chicks and horror flicks? Because I know we had a bunch of great spooky chicks horror flicks stuff going on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so many. I think like one of my favorites is one of the weddings that the producer and I went to were in, it was in Rhode Island on Bristol Island. And it was unbelievably beautiful. I have really grown to like love the East Coast and going during fall. Oh my gosh, it was just amazing. And then we capped off our trip with going to Boston and Salem and Ali Salem, very special place in our hearts. And it was awesome to like take the producer and kind of show him all of my favorite things in Salem. And yeah, I just like really, really loved that trip. That was probably one of my favorite memories. What about you,
I,
Alice?
I'm still really jealous of that trip. So way to rub
You
it
got to
in.
go with me. You got to go with me to Salem a couple years ago, but let's go
I
again.
know. I know. No, we like this needs to be like an annual thing. But for me, I think one of my best memories or experiences of this year is when my family and I went to, we did a road trip that was like 2 weeks and we went to see the eclipse that won't come again for 20 years. So it was really special. It was on my mom's like birthday basically. So we traveled all through, I don't know, 6 different states and we got to see the total eclipse and it was amazing. And also I got to go to fucking Bucky's. So that was amazing.
What else did you get to do? You went to Hoopers.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yes, I got to go to Hooper's where they filmed Chainsaw Massacre, and I got to drink White Claw and eat a salad there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And you took amazing photos with the chainsaw. Don't forget.
they gave me a chainsaw. They were like, "Here, just take it."
I
And
love that. I wish I was there.
it was, dude, and I got to go see Waco and go to the Branch Davidians all in that one trip.
Amazing.
Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah.
Okay. But regardless, it's been a great year for both of us. So those are just some highlights. But Emma, if you were
Yes.
Krampus,
Oh.
how would you punish the children that did not behave?
Ooh. This is a fun question. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Okay. Oh, I feel like I would make them watch something that's like so unbelievably boring. They would just like want to rip their eyes out.
That's kind of what I was leading towards too, and then I thought of something else.
Here, let me think on mine a little bit more. What's your answer?
So I would probably put them. This is kind of rough, but I put them in the chokey for Matilda,
Oh,
and while they have to eat the massive ass chocolate cake that Bruce absolutely just demolishes, like in one sitting.
Wow, that is a good one. And I'm gonna just piggyback on your answer because I don't think I can come up with anything better than that.
I'm not sure where my brain is when I like thought of that, but it's pretty
I know,
fucked
what a
up.
question.
Okay, and this is
I love that.
the next question is the most important one on Allie's fun and fast wrapped questions. Emma,
I'm sorry, everyone, ahead of time. I'm sorry.
what the fuck ever? Come on. We all know what's coming. Emma, what
Yes.
movie that we have reviewed reminds you the most of the infamous Polar Express?
Before I answer this, I have to say I was watching a Christmas movie the other day. Actually, I think the producer and I were watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You know, when you watch on like certain platforms, the movie will end and it'll just start playing like another movie.
Yeah.
The producer had left the house and I'm in the kitchen and it starts just playing Polar Express. And I was like, am I being haunted right now by the Polar Express?
Or by me?
It like genuinely freaked me out. Like I was like, whoa, 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 I did not turn this on. But I think the film that we have reviewed that most closely reminds me of Polar Express is probably The Lost Boys when they are hanging off the train tracks because it's so like mystical and kind of spooky. And honestly, the Polar Express is kind of spooky.
And what I
But
would say, what like reminded me most is Krampus. No shit.
oh, yes. I mean, yeah. God, Krampus is so good. I need to watch that. We haven't watched it this year.
That was definitely, we reviewed that last year, but that's so, this is where my whole thing with horror and Polar Express got started. And it's like the kid didn't believe in the magic of Christmas and shit got fucked up. It's so Polar
Shit got
Express.
crazy.
Yeah, it's Polar Express centric.
Yep. Yep. I like it. Well, Alice, before we like totally wrap everything up for this little mini-sode, do we have anything that we want to tell everybody that we are looking forward to in 2025? I feel like I've got some events that I can think of already off the top of my head. We want to try to make it to Creep IE Con, so you guys can try to look out for us for that. Midsummer, obviously. I also think it would be so dope if we could try to go to Texas Frightmare weekend.
Dude, I'm down.
We should try to make that happen. Well, we will keep you guys all posted. I guess, kind of most importantly, what horror movies are you looking forward to seeing in 2025?
We kind of spoke about this earlier, but Nosferatu comes out on Christmas. But also 28 years later,
Dude,
I'm
yes.
stoked for.
Yes, 100%.
I'm not sure if this counts as a horror film because I haven't looked too much into it, but Death of a Unicorn by A24.
I haven't heard of that one.
It looks more like a satirical horror drama, but it looks good. Got a stat cast.
I would have to agree with you. Definitely excited for Nosferatu, especially because we're going to watch it on Christmas. 28 days later, for sure, 100%. And then there's a couple other ones, like I think that there's a Conjuring film that's coming out in 2025 called like The Conjuring Last Rites. Very excited for that. I think there's another Megan also coming out in 2025. It's like Megan 2.0. I think that there's a Frankenstein coming out in 2025 and a Wolfman as well, which, you know, we love the Wolfies over here. So those are just like a few that I'm excited about.
There's a bunch of stuff coming out, which is great. And something I just looked up also is something called Vicious, and it's got
Oh,
Dakota Fanning, and she kind of freaks me out. So that'll be good.
oh, and then you know what else too is The Strangers Chapter 2.
Oh, there we go.
So excited for that one.
There is an untitled I Know What You Did Last Summer film coming out.
Wait, shut up.
Yeah.
Wait, oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm so excited for that. Ooh, these will be so fun. So yeah, you guys know every time we watch a new film, we try to do a Fresh Fright episode. So I think for 2025, our goal is definitely to do a lot more Fresh Frights and, you know, really kind of make sure that we are covering new fun horror films that are coming out. So if you guys have any too that you guys want us to watch and review, please feel free to DM us, what have you. And we love getting your input on what we should review.
Love it.
Well, everyone, I think that that was our 2024 wrapped. I feel like we had such an amazing year. We want to thank all of you guys so much for supporting the podcast. We have grown so much in the short year and a half that we have had the podcast. And I can't even explain how much we love all of you and appreciate all of your support and can't wait to just keep making great podcast episodes in 2025 and beyond. If you guys are not already following us on social media, you can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. And we also have a Patreon. We so appreciate all of our Patreon members. Thank you guys so much for helping us build that amazing community. And we've got a lot of fun stuff in store over on Patreon for 2025. And yeah, Alice, I can't wait for next year with you. It's going to be so fun.
Dude, 2025 is gonna be fucking bitchin'. And to all of our listeners and everybody out there, happy fucking holidays. We will see you in 2025 and stay spooky fuckers.